Okay, it's 5:30. We do have a quorum. Vice President Bear, can you please lead us in prayer?
Dear Lord, please guard and guide us as we make important decisions that affect our students, our faculty, and our college. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Forgive me, guys. I saw you walk in and I stammered.
I thought it was pretty good. Not bad for your first time today.
All right, are there any members or visitors present that we would like to introduce at this time?
I'm thinking on the side.
Okay. And we don't have public comments. Could someone check? Thank you, Dr. Lytle. No, okay, thank you, Dr. Lytle. All right, there are no one signed up for public comments, so we move on to agenda item number 4. Do any of our board members have comments at this time? None? All right, we move on to agenda item number 5, update by the college president, Dr. Swags.
So we have a short update this month, a few slides, but I think definitely very impactful in the work that we've been doing throughout our community. So on February 24th, I was fortunate enough to join other members of the executive cabinet, and we signed an agreement, an MOU with A&M Kingsville to form the Engineering Academy partnership between Texas A&M, Laredo College, Victoria College, and Coastal Bend College as well. This is a very substantial partnership, given that these types of educational programs are not as available to our rural communities as they are in other urban areas. So when we met, we did meet with Dr. Bella, and we're very excited about the launch of this program in the upcoming fall. It will substantially provide this educational program in a very impactful way to our students, so we're very happy about this partnership and that agreement. So some great work that our academic affairs team is facilitating in that area, so I want to thank you, Dr. Johnson, for that work, and Dean Secord and everyone else involved in these agreements and making sure that students have these opportunities available at Coastal Bend College. On February 28th, we were able to join the Live Oak County Parade. This was facilitated by the Three Rivers Chamber of Commerce. We had our dental hygiene students out there representing Coastal Bend College, so we're very happy to have them as part of that work. And I know that part of the engagement that we had within the community, we had some really good feedback. So much to say that we actually took first place in the non-commercial part of the parade. I was talking to VP Blightry a couple of days ago, and I texted him as soon as we got the first place award or ribbon, and he said, "Sure you did. You got the first place." We were kind of expecting that, but this goes back to the work that our maintenance and facilities teams have been doing to maintain that float. There was a lot of substantial work that took place in the fall, and this was all done in-house. We were initially wanting to outsource this work with the vendor that we have typically used out of San Antonio. I think initially we were quoted about $15,000 to $20,000 to revamp the float. We didn't take that approach. It was all done internally, so I think we ended up spending or investing upwards of about $2,000 in the project with paint and lighting and things like that. So we'll make some more improvements over the upcoming semester as well. But big shout out to the facilities and maintenance team for undertaking that work on their spare time. I know that we're here on the weekends during the November and December break. JC, I don't know if you want to comment on that. We were out there several times seeing the progress that we had
We
done.
were sweating it up. It was tough. No, yeah, great work by the team. So
Yeah.
it's turned out really well.
Yeah. So on March 2nd, I was able to join administrative leadership at West Oaks ISD for the Drop Everything and Read program. I was actually able to read to a group of 4th grade students, and interestingly enough, I chose the most difficult read I think they had in the library that day. It was a Dr. Seuss book in Spanish. So I did do very well during the read, I will say, but I will share that a lot of the students didn't understand what I was saying because they weren't fluent in Spanish. But they were excited. They were excited to learn, and part of this work is just us re-engaging the community. and it's very impactful. And some of the feedback that I got from the librarian there was, the reality is some of these students may not get any type of reading at home because, you know, parents get busy with responsibilities, you know, work-life balances and things like that. So this is where we bridge the impact that we have that really aligns with our mission as a college, and find ways to integrate ourselves in these types of programs and productions. So we got invited, I got a certificate, I was able to meet with the superintendent as well for ISD. So I think this is also a good way to plant that seed and partner in community growth moving forward. So we're really happy about this work. I'm hoping next year we'll be able to integrate within other ISDs, and we're also facilitating these conversations locally here with Evil ISD, Kingsville ISD, and some of our dual credit partnerships throughout the region. So this month we actually facilitated supporting the awarding of a scholarship as part of the Beatles Ladies Night Out. So we did award one of our CBC students a $500 scholarship. Once again, this goes back to integrating the work that we're doing as a community and as a college to make sure that not only do we have academic programs available to our students, but that they're accessible and affordable within our community. So we'll continue in this work. We want to thank Viva Ladies Night Out for supporting us in this work, and the Coastal Bend College Foundation as well. It really does go a long way in really understanding the stories that the real live issues that our students experience day to day, and just facilitating pursuing an education. So I know I got a chance to speak with the student as part of the award, and we had initially scheduled the photo op at 10 a.m., but the student was working, and those are the realities of a lot of our students at Coastal Bend College. So we had to reschedule it for later on in the day, but I think it just, once again, it gives us that exposure to the experiences that our students are facing day to day in pursuing an education at the college. So just a quick update, some upcoming events. March 24th, we have the Diamonds of Distinction Women's Who Lead in and from our community. This is going to be taking place from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. As part of the Women's History Month, we do have an actual flyer here for the trustees to reference and use, and we'll be sending out more detailed information on the event as well if you'd like to participate and join us as part of this. So that's my update for this month, short and sweet.
Cool. Thank you, Dr. Suarez. Next item, agenda item number 7, the consent agenda. 7A is consideration and possible action to approve the February 17th, 2026 regular board meeting minutes. Is there any discussion, motion?
She just motioned, I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve consent agenda item number 7A. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next item is agenda item number 8, reports. The first one being A, 2024-2025 Annual Performance Report. Dr. Suarez.
If I can just take a quick second, Board Chair, to visit the mission moment, item number 6. If that's
Oh, I'm
okay.
sorry, I missed that one.
No, and I apologize.
Thank you, no, I apologize.
This mission moment, I think it's going to be one of the most challenging and difficult mission moments at the college. But part of this month's recognition, the administration did want to recognize Anna for your work in supporting everything that the trustees do. So we were discussing earlier, and it was so interesting because Anna came into my office and she says, "Do you know how many board meetings I've assisted and facilitated with?" And she says, 154. She says, "I took the time to count them, but Anna, I mean this genuinely. You have been instrumental to the success of this college, and others that are here that may not know Anna will be leaving us here soon. Tomorrow will be her last official day at CBC. It's a sour and sweet moment, but we thank you for everything that you've done for us. And if there's ever anything that we can do for you moving forward, you have the college's full support, and I think I can speak on behalf of the board to say that you have the board's full support in your personal and professional growth moving forward. It was hard to keep a little surprise that we got Fran under wraps. Our office is small, so we were hiding this. Mary, I want to thank Mary for helping me hide this. Not that great at this, so we'll give you this. But part of the mission moment, we do have a little swag bag for you. So wherever you go, represent Coastal Bend College. Send students our way as well. It's easy to come across them, but I would like to just present you with a small token of our appreciation on behalf of the administration and the Board of Trustees for all of your work at it. We'll take a picture with you. You're going to stick around with us. We'll get the photo up later.
And on behalf of the board, just want to thank you for your many years of service. I mean, you're incredibly prompt, hardworking, professional, and very, very nice, always pleasant, easy to deal with. Even when you have a request from a needy trustee like myself, you never, ever frown on it. You're incredibly helpful. I mean, your shoes are going to be very hard to fill. And I don't know, hopefully, I mean, we find someone, but it's not going to be easy to do. So I just want to say thank you so very, very much. And if you ever need anything, you can always reach out to us. We hope you stay in touch. Please do, and thank you again for everything you've done for us.
Yes, and I'd like to thank y'all though as well. It's been great working with all y'all, meeting everybody. I've learned a lot at the college and at the institution. I've been here a little over 8 years, 154th board meeting tonight. But you learn a lot and you meet a lot of great people, and I'm very appreciative and very honored and very touched. So thank you very much.
You know, I was wondering, I was looking back after you just said that, I thought, man, I got to see her come in and grow
Yeah.
existentially. Well, you did very, very well here. Thank you for all you've done, because you've been with, I know with me, I don't think there's anybody else on this board that has been here as long as you have with me. We've navigated some pretty rough roads together. So,
Yes.
I was glad to see you come in. I know Gloria trained you really well. She did a great job, Mrs. Rincon, if you'll know about Mrs. Rincon's predecessor, but she trained you very well, and you did a great job of stepping in. So thank you for everything you've done over all your years.
Yeah, kudos for me to, I have you on speed dial, but I guess I'm
You got somebody
I don't
else,
know.
I mean, that's yours for you.
I don't know. Thank you, Anna.
Thank
I
you
will
very
be
much.
missing these comments like before the board meeting. Are you coming? With the-
Where are you? You haven't responded. You kept us accountable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. All right, that does it for agenda item number 6. Now we're moving to agenda item number 7, the consent. I'm sorry, we're moving to the reports, number 8. Item 8A, the annual performance report. Dr. Suarez.
Yes. So we are providing, as required by state legislation, the annual report for fiscal year 24-25. That's part of the board packet for the trustees. It's this report here, the navy dark blue. I know previously we provided this report, and it's been a very extensive report. And there's really some very specific information that we need to provide the trustees as part of the regulations. So our IA team, Dr. Blydery and Braden, have provided us with this very comprehensive yet succinct report to give the trustees just basically a benchmark of where we are at as an institution this year. And we'll continue providing the reports in this format moving forward. And I think it serves as a good resource for the trustees and the college to make some very informed, data-driven decisions with a clear snapshot of where we're at as an institution. So I'll give some quick oversights. For the fiscal year 24-25, we awarded 107 Associates of Arts degrees, 216 Associate of Science degrees, 84 Associate of Applied Science degrees, 42 Level 2 certificates, and 231 Level 1 certificates throughout the fiscal year. I think what was really interesting in looking at this data was just our performance metrics with respect to the modalities of the classes that are being taught. So online sections, as you can see, the pass rate for those classes are 81%. When you compare those to face-to-face offerings, The pass rates for that is 91.9%. So the theory of students doing better in face-to-face classes is evident in the data as is presented. Two-way interactive video passage rates are 90.8%, and in the hybrid model that we have at the college, the passage rates are 88.4%. So overall, our students are doing well in the courses. However, we are still having discussions on how we can refine and improve the success of our students based off class modalities and course offerings moving forward as a college. The next information that's provided is the TSI obligation satisfied by census state, 60.4% for reading. Math is 34.8%, which is typical institutions of higher education. This is where colleges and universities struggle the most in making sure that students are TSI ready in math. However, once again, as administration using this data to provide interventions this upcoming year is going to be instrumental, whether that's TSI boot camps and trainings that we can offer in the summer. This feeds into our enrollment strategies, so we're looking at this data very, very closely and identifying ways to integrate interventions for our students so they can be successful. Writing, 59.8%. Overall, I think in the TSI completion rates, there's improvements that need to be made across the board. I was talking to Dr. Johnson earlier, it is a challenge that we face as an industry in higher ed, being that we're receiving students from the K through 12 system, right? And this shows that the students that we receive, some of them are unprepared when it comes to TSI readiness. Now, there are some changes that are taking place at the state level and key performance indicators and metrics that TA is going to be adopting this upcoming year with respect to TSI and how institutions, basically K through 12 institutions are funded. So I think that'll help us address the issue collaboratively across both sectors. So some very insightful information. I'm a data nerd, so I really like looking at this type of information. On the next page, page 2, is just the composition of our students. 24.7% are economically disadvantaged, 9.4% are academically disadvantaged, and overall 76.6% of our students identify their ethnicity as Hispanic at Coastal Bend College. So just some information to share with the trustees. The last page, page 4, also some very insightful information on our operations. 58.4% of our students are dual credit, 55% of contact hours taught at the college are by full-time faculty. And then we have a percentage of graduation rates for licensure exams across our allied health programs and our workforce education programs. So 86.8% for our cosmetology program during their first attempt when students are going for their licensing exams, 60% for dental hygiene, 89% for radiology, and 81.08% for vocational nursing. Once again, we're looking at this data already to adopt interventions within these specific programs over the summer and over the upcoming semester. So, but having a quick snapshot of where we're at, I think is very important, and being able to use the data in a resourceful way, as opposed to it being very convoluted and difficult to interpret. So as far as the transfer rates, one of the things that I'd like to share with the trustees is the top transfer institutions. This is data that we had at our disposal from a data standpoint, but we had never been able to aggregate it in a way where it was this specific. So Texas A&M University is our top transfer institution. 25% of our students transfer to Texas A&M University in Kingsville. 14% transfer to Texas A&M University Corpus Christi, and then 8.29% transfer to the University of Texas at San Antonio. So when we begin talking about articulation agreements and pathways and strong partnerships, this data is very indicative of those discussions and those meetings that we should be having with those institutions and those executive leaders, so we can make sure that students have open pathways at those institutions. And I know Dr. Barroso will be discussing some of our enrollment strategy here shortly, but some very insightful information, and I'm open to any questions that the trustees may have on the report. It is for informational purposes only, so no approval is required.
On this dual credit students that's coming in, they did take the test, right, the TIS test before they come in?
A lot of, it just depends on the courses that they're taking. So some of the classes don't require TSI depending on the sequence specific at their high school. So it's, I wouldn't say yes, but many of them do take the TSI before they actually participate or in the dual credit program, yes. But not all of them, I guess is the best way to put it.
Because I can see, I think this will increase if we will pay attention to the students or help them, should we say, to be successful.
Yes, yes.
Please keep in mind also, I mean, not only dual credits like take the TSI, but we also have the returning adult who comes to the institution as well. So if you have an adult, let's say, in their 40s or even 30s or 40s, if you're returning to college and they are not like me, I mean, you know, give me math, and I'll have a little trouble with it, you know, so you may have those particular students who are going through it and do not meet the TSI.
Thank you.
And we had some meetings with the administration at Kingsville. The superintendent at Kingsville did advise us. We had a lunch meeting with them a couple of months ago that they were hoping to get some support from the college on boot camps specifically, whether during the semester or during the summer. And it's indicative of other higher ed peers are experiencing the same challenges. So I think we can take a more conservative approach to offer those types of solutions for them to make sure our students are successful.
Dr. Suarez, and the figures on the economically disadvantaged and the academically disadvantaged, I found those surprisingly lower than I would have expected. And from my experience when I was here, I guess.
Yes, I think part of it is just the way that it's defined by the coordinating board. So we use, and we, on the third page, we actually outline how those students are identified. So from a data standpoint, when you add these variables into place, I think that's indicative of the percentage. If we look at it holistically as an institution and how we measure economically disadvantaged, I think that the number would change, and we can definitely provide that to the trustees to have a different benchmark.
And then I was, curious, it's wonderful to have data, first of all. I mean, this is fantastic, really appreciate it. When we look at the numbers over here with the people online and face-to-face and how they're doing, is there a way to see which students are doing better in those categories, like, or not doing as well? Is it like our dual credit students, our first time in college students?
Yes. And there is a way, I know Ryan Contreras, our database administrator, is working on developing those reports for us. So there is a way, I think, we just want to make sure that any data that we're providing, whether it's to the deans or to the departments, that it's accurate. So part of that is a lot of programming that's taking place behind the scenes right now.
We appreciate it, this is fantastic,
Yeah.
thank you
So,
very much.
And they put this together in a number of days, so we have a very strong team in that
Yes.
area. It's very impressive with the work that's taking place.
I remember you saying something about that, y'all went on spring break, and then he just got on board and
Yeah.
managed to put this together, so
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, do we have a plan yet in place to use the face-to-face data specifically is what I was really happy to see, because that means bringing students back to the college campus to actually see activity here. Is there a plan in place to put that data out there? I think it's important for the public to realize that, COVID changed a lot of things, not necessarily for the good. And I think this is one of those things that didn't change for the good, this actually made it worse. Online programs are not as good as face-to-face programs, and I think that's something that we probably need to distribute or disseminate to the public at large. And hopefully that'll help not just our institution, but institutions across the nation.
I agree,
I'm
trustee.
sure that this is gonna be duplicated in all areas.
And there is, I would say more than plans, there's already initiatives that are underway to address this. So one, for example, is all of the developmental education courses are no longer gonna be offered online effective as of this coming fall. So that we wanna make sure that the first experience students have is in a face-to-face modality, and that we integrate them into the college and they come across our wonderful advising staff, our teachers, our faculty, and other employees at the college. But we've also looked at part of the course scheduling that we're undertaking this upcoming fall semester. We requested open records from Victoria College, South Texas College, and Del Mar College. And what we did is basically modeled their course structure in a face-to-face format. And now we have, in essence, basically the ideal state for course offerings for the upcoming fall. And interestingly enough, when we looked at the data, there was no classes offered from 4 to 5 p.m. That's You know, why would that be? Well, it's a parent that maybe dropped their student off at 8 a.m. and isn't gonna be able to pick them up until 5:30. When the last class is perhaps over. There was also no classes offered from the 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. block schedule. That's when our students need to eat, right? We don't want students going from one class into another course room without having any type of lunch or food to sustain throughout the day. So the data is just, it's pretty amazing when you aggregate it and you use it in a way to make informed decisions, and that's what our academic instructional team is doing right now in collaboration with our enrollment management team for the course scheduling for the fall. So,
And there's something to be said for getting the type of data where you ask students, what were the reasons that you were not successful in this particular course? Because sometimes it's not the course that is not, you know, a good course. Most of the courses, I believe, are good courses. But some students are not prepared. And a lot of times I remember them having problems, like they didn't even realize that this whole section over here that they never opened were assignments, you know? And so making that connection and making sure that our offerings are somewhat consistent, so that when you take one course, the other course is very similar, so you're familiar with the process.
Yeah.
Those collateral variables are definitely things to consider when we're onboarding them, we're tracking them in.
And we're looking at that, that integration also, an initiative we've tasked our academic affairs division to lead for this upcoming fall is integrating a quality matters framework, which basically there's a student taking an English and a math course, they should see that same level of consistency with respect to where are the assignments, where are the exams placed, where are the discussions placed, where can I find the instructor's contact information in that course. There should be some level of consistency in the experience that our students have. And then OER, when you add that into the development of the initiatives that we have, making sure that they don't have that barrier from day one in textbook materials is also gonna be instrumental. So I'm really excited about the upcoming fall and where we're at as a team. I know Dr. Johnson, a lot of these initiatives fall within the academic affairs division, but I can't thank Dr. Johnson and the deans for spearheading this. It's been a lot of work, a lot of very difficult discussions, in my opinion, as well to have, and just changing how we operate to make sure that it benefits our students in a positive way.
Well, I'm pleased to hear that they're on board, it seems like, so that's positive.
Thank you for that.
That's what I have for the 24-25 annual performance report. I also have an update on the strategic plan. Our institutional effectiveness team led by VP Vider, he's actually out at a conference in Indianapolis right now, which is why he can't be at tonight's board meeting. They've been working very diligently to have focus groups across the college to get feedback for the strategic plan that we're developing. We do expect to bring a completed strategic plan to the trustees next month, in the month of April. So it'll be timely before we start the next academic year, and that'll also give the trustees an opportunity to provide feedback or insights on possible recommendations that we may need to integrate as part of our strategic planning for the next 5 years. So it's on track, it's on schedule, and I think the trustees are going to be very impressed with what that team is going to deliver, given that there's a lot of key performance indicators and benchmarks and data that we're using to hold ourselves to a different standard as a college on how we operate.
So we'll have a final report in April?
Correct, yes. The next report, enrollment initiatives report, is by Dr. Barroso, who is our VP of Student Affairs and Enrollment Management. I had several meetings with Dr. Barroso over the past couple of weeks, and actually during our last meeting I said, you need to present this to the board. I think they're going to be really excited on where you and your team are at, so Dr. Barroso, I'll defer to you on this presentation.
Well, thank you all for having me today. I was looking at the calendar and I'm completing about 60 days, 2 months in. It's been a great adventure, great journey, and it's really exciting to be able to launch some of these initiatives. And I want to welcome some of the team that's here from the division. Some of our other directors weren't able to be here, but no matter what challenge is given to them, no matter what is asked of them, they rise to the challenge and they're willing to do it. And it's really the commitment to students. I will be covering some of the initiatives for the strategies we're doing. First of all, the Coastal Bend Promise will be launching officially on April 1st. We know the commitment that the board and the college has made to donate some of the monies to the students. Just to let you know, this truly is an institutional collaboration. We're working with the advisors, with the Pathway Navigators, with the business office, with the entire institution to make sure the student experience is seamless, and they're able to get all the full support that they need. We do have the website that was launched already. I don't know if we're able to click on the link there, just to give you an overview of it. And it does provide students with the information on the program itself, along with the eligibility requirements, with an overview of the program itself, and it's really easy to navigate. They click each of the different sections. It'll tell them important dates, FAQs, benefits, whatever they may need. The website also will have the application for students to go in, fill the application, and then we will know which students to contact to screen for eligibility as well. Our launch date is April 1st. We're doing a full launch throughout all the sites. This is Agenda PR is working on the official invite. I believe they will be sending it out to y'all. Starting in the morning with Pleasanton, then Alice, Kingsville, and then ending the day here. Each campus, each site will have students from the high schools there to complete the application to do a full launch for the students to be able to understand the benefits of it. We're really excited. Again, this really streamlines that onboarding experience for the students, removing any financial barriers that they may have. Again, the promise is that last dollar scholarship. So if there's any balance that's still left for tuition after financial aid, scholarships, the promise will cover that for these students. Next, we started looking at our onboarding process. One of the things that we looked is how can we create an experience for the students that will be starting their freshman year here at Coastal Bend College. So this event is actually designed for the true freshmen, which are the high school graduating seniors. We've branded it as a Cougar Trek, so students will be coming onto campus. We're re-envisioning the onboarding experience. The date is scheduled for May 7th. We've targeted about 120 students, but the biggest benefit to this is it's allowed us to identify true prospective seniors that will be coming to the college. So students that do not attend the event, or students that are not able to register, we'll be able to target those students specifically to recruit them and enroll them into the summer or fall semesters. We identified about 300 to 400 prospective students that are eligible for this program, combination of dual credit students and students that have not taken prior dual credit before. And it really is to celebrate their experience as new Cougars on campus. You know, we understand that a lot of students celebrate the university experience. We want them to get that same experience here at Coastal Bend College. We want them to be proud of coming here. And then it really becomes an engaging and connection and connecting students with Coastal Bend College. The agenda for the day really is the welcome, advising, registration, goes through registration finalization, campus tours, really allowing them to go through the different departments, knowing where they're supposed to be, and then the outdoor activities. The objective of this event is that the student leaves registered for classes and with their picture ID in hand, removing any barriers that may exist in the enrollment process. We don't want students to be coming to campus, leaving, and then having to make multiple trips. We want that experience to be seamless for the students. One of the unique features to this, they will get branding that's specific to the college, only to them. So we want students to feel special when they come onto campus. So these shirts here were designed by PR, and only students that attend the event that register for classes will get that from the mobile swag. An overview of our recruitment process. You know, recruiters are really busy. What they've done over the past year, we've attended over 60 recruitment events. They've identified those 300 to 400 students that are prospective students they'll be working with. And then some of the feedback that we've been getting is very positive. Students want campus tours, they want to see the campus, they want to experience campus life. They want program-specific information. They want to know exactly what the courses will look like, what the career outcomes will be. And then one of the pieces to this is the interactive recruitment where they use virtual reality technology. So what it's called
CareerView XR.
CareerView XR. So students are able to put on goggles, experience it, while it's projected onto the screen. They're able to do welding. What else?
Anything from welding, police work, a medical doctor, nursing, to lobster fishing. Like, it's got everything.
There is a window one, right? A window.
There is a wind turbine.
And my anxiety, just in heights, like even the VR, I know it's not real, but I was, I don't want to do that.
So the recruitment is very interactive, very engaging. We're really able to connect the students to the college and our programs. I've also done an overview of some of our enrollment services. These are some of the strategies and some of the things that we're targeting. When it came to admissions, we're looking to do an alternative to the Applied Texas. We know the Applied Texas itself can be very tedious and very long, so we are looking to create an alternative to this that will be a lot easier, shorter, quick to submit, Our target launch date is to pilot it by spring of '27. We are currently trying to develop the process and trying to identify those partner schools and students that we could pilot it with. We also looked at testing, and what I found was students are having to come in, request from the testing office for their scores to be downloaded from College Board. So we're actually looking to do batch loading of these test scores. Students that test at the high school were able to do a full batch load of those scores, so the student will not have to do the request at all. The scores will automatically be uploaded. The student can come in, will have the scores ready for them. And then with financial aid, we're looking to do roster verification. This is more on identifying Title IX funds, making sure that the students that are on financial aid are actually in the classes, and if they're not in the classes, they're not attending, we will drop them before the deadline so they're not penalized and the college will not have to return any funds based on that. We're also looking to develop a communication plan. The communication plan we've built off of the student life cycle. So we want messaging to be very intentful, very direct, focusing on where that student is in the process, from inquiry, expressing that interest into becoming a college student, when they've applied, when they are a student, and then of course, leading on to success and completion. So the messaging will be through email, text, and phone call. We are looking to develop that messaging, what it looks like, what the student will be receiving, and then of course, engaging him through each of the points of the pathway, providing resources, branding, messaging, whatever may be needed in their courses, whatever may be needed at that certain point in their life cycle. And we're looking to launch this by fall of 2026. In addition to this, one of the things that I've identified is when we look at student resources, really making it very clear for students. One of the main things that I found is the student handbook, for example, is part of the college catalog. So we want to separate that out so the student handbook lives on its own, being very clear, being able to provide quick references to students, policies, expectations, whatever they may need. Identifying student conduct as well, so they'll know exactly what those expectations will be, and then accessibility and accommodations as well. We want it to be very clear, we want it to be providing the relevant information so it's easy to find for them, and then this is currently in progress, so we're looking to have it ready by this summer, by this fall. When we look at accessibility, we've actually done a full look at this. This is looking to see the accommodations that are being provided to our students that may need ADA accommodations. We really look at best practices from other institutions, what we can do to make sure that we're providing in a timely manner. We did a full website review. We want it to be very clear for our students, in addition to providing that communication to the student and the faculty, making sure that they are receiving the information they need, that they're up to date with whatever information and accommodations have been requested, and if the faculty have any questions, being able to address those immediately. We want to increase awareness when it comes to accessibility and accommodations for our students and our faculty. We really want to target Title IX, the pregnant and parenting awareness as well, making sure that the faculty and the students are aware of what that actually means, what accommodations can be provided, and then making sure that we're compliant with laws. We want to centralize our files in Maxience, which is the current platform that we use, making sure that we have one central location of where we need to find any information or requests, we're quickly able to find it. This is currently in progress as well. We should be ready by summer or fall as well. One of the next things that I would like to create here at Coastal Bend is our call center. This is one of the features to be able to centralize the college's main phone line, being able to have student workers and full-time staff to be able to answer the calls, direct them as needed, and also document the call as appropriate. In addition to inbound calls, they would also facilitate outbound telemarketing. So the unpaid list, registration, drop dates, students that were dropped, being able to reach out to them as well. We're looking to about 5 or 10 colleges, which would be of course work studies, which will also give them the opportunity to be involved on campus. Our target date for this is summer and fall. Really just repurposing some of the areas that we already have on campus. One of our computer labs, being able to work with technology to bring in the phones, and then getting everything ready. The other thing that I've looked at is our admissions and center. Being able to provide a great experience for our students, part of the onboarding process as well. And then I know you all mentioned having more students come on campus, making it as simple for them as they can. So this is our current center right now. One of the things that starts happening when we look at other institutions, they're going into a more open concept to be more welcoming to students. So the idea is to take our current center and do more of an open concept as well. See you again. And you'll see side by side kind of the difference, where we have these students coming in, waiting in line, kind of that TMB model. We want more of an open concept, it'll be more welcoming. Students can come in, get welcomed, get immediate support for financial aid, Applied Texas. If they need to speak to a pathway navigator or to a more escalated issue, they're taken into the back, into our Student Success Center, where they have more of that personal conversation with the staff. But this allows it to be more welcoming, immediate response, and be supported. We are also looking to increase our student engagement for students to get them involved on campus. These are some of the events that we have scheduled or trying to work on through the end of the year. Ping pong pool tournament for the students on campus. We are looking to schedule 2 events to take students off campus. You know, a conversation with Dr. Suarez was students want to do more stuff in Beeville and around the communities. So we're looking to take them out to the ice race hockey game and then also to the Hooks baseball game. In addition, scheduling a movie night, the end of semester bash, and then finals week, letting them decompress with some games. We're also looking to schedule some community events in partnership with Dr. Castañeda, doing a team with CBC. This allows us to kind of go out into the community, have information sessions, recruitment sessions with not just the high schools, but with community members as well. Allowing those information sessions to occur, inviting prospects who attended these community events into extended hours on those campuses at each site on Thursdays. This allows us to target that adult learner and the working student who's not able to attend our sessions or come onto our services during the morning or during the day. And it all wraps up with our strategic enrollment management plan, which we are currently developing. We have a committee that includes membership throughout the institution. Our goals are to increase student enrollment, improve persistence, and then increase completion rates. Overall, it's going to be long-term objectives that are aligned with the strategic plan to make sure that the college is moving forward through the next years.
Touch this.
Sorry, screen. Yeah.
There.
And we want to create measurable targets, realistic targets that we're looking to aim percentage growth rates when it comes to persistence to enrollment. And everything, of course, goes back to making those data-driven decisions, making sure that we're looking at the data and we have the reports and the data that we need. Our target to complete the plan will be this summer. And that's an overview of our services.
You need to leave something for your next 60 days.
I want to thank you for, you and your staff put a lot of work into this, and this is the results.
You often need to give a presentation and a speech was board, so. Good job. Look, it's pretty exciting on paper. Let's look forward to the,
We're going to provide updates with y'all as we kind of complete those.
looking forward to the fruits of that labor.
Thank you. Right. Next agenda item is item number 9 under new business 9A. In particular, it's consideration and possible action to cancel the CBC Board of Trustee election for places 1, 2, and 3, ordered for May 2nd, 2026. Dr. Suarez?
So on this one, Board Chair, we only had one candidate submit for the places 1, 2, and 3. So basically in accordance with the rules for the election and running the election, we are recommending to the board that we cancel the upcoming election that was previously scheduled, since there will be no opposing candidates for any of the seats that are currently legal.
Any discussion? Okay, for approval. Okay, it's been moved to approve. Is there a second? All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to agenda item number 9B, consideration and possible action to approve a resolution concerning a 36-hour summer work week schedule. Dr. Suarez.
So the trustees have previously or historically approved this type of schedule. We are bringing this back to the trustees to adopt for this upcoming academic year, what's left of this academic year. So the only change in this minute order is that we actually outlined and modified some of the dates. So we wanted to be very specific to the information that was presented to the trustees. So this modified 36-hour summer work week schedule would begin the week of May 18th and end the week of August 7th. Also some, I would say, a substantial changes. There's an additional 2 weeks that are being provided to employees as part of this modified work schedule. I think, Dr. Lotto, you had mentioned that previously we began the schedule.
After Memorial Day.
Okay, so, and this new schedule would begin the week after graduation takes place. So I do want to share that a lot of the modified work schedules that we have, for example, right now with the 4.5-day work week, are already showing substantial gains in our ability to recruit and retain qualified employees. So this addition of those 2 additional weeks, I think, is also in alignment with that. And we're very happy, our employees are very happy. We've had some very informal surveys that we've done at some of our meetings, and I'll ask who doesn't agree with the schedule, and no one raises their hand. So if anyone here disagrees with the schedule, you know, voice your concern now. But we want to show our employees that we appreciate all the hard work that they are doing for the college and the institution, and it's evident in things like the recognition that we've gotten from Inside Higher Edge and that magazine. And also the work that's taking place right now with our SACS accreditation and where we stand with the coordinating board. I think it's a complete shift from where we were at as an institution just a few months ago. And once again, that is all because of the work our employees are undertaking day to day, so.
Does that just mean that it's kind of a year-long process by adding those 2 weeks? Like from when we started, there's no disruption to a 36-hour week, is that kind of what we're doing?
Well, in this case, because right now we have the 4.5-day work week, we still facilitate a 40-hour work week, so we just shorten the Friday.
I see, so they're not gonna have to do those 40 hours, they're gonna just do the 36?
For the summer, just
For
during
the
the summer
summer.
term, yes. So we would resume, assuming that the board would want to continue with the pilot for the 4.5-day work week in the next academic year, we would bring another minute order and resolution for that to continue in
I
20.
see the difference.
Yes.
Because originally the summer is only 4 days, right?
Yes, correct, yes. It's typically, historically, that's what the board has been approving. The only changes right now, we're adding additional 2 weeks to the previous schedule, yes.
Okay, so I'm just confused on the funding part of it, because it says no funds are required. How is it that we're not providing the funding for our shortened hours that they're getting paid, where they're getting paid for is 40 still, right?
That is correct, yes.
So how are we not providing the, I mean, the statement of no funds are required doesn't make sense to me if we're paying for 40, but you're only working 36.
Well, that statement is just basically, since we're not requesting any additional funding, it's already been budgeted as part of the payroll and the salaries and the benefits. So I think it's, we could definitely clarify that, but that's.
Yeah, 'cause it sounds like that's problem. I don't know if that would be a problem with audits or anything else, because they're not,
No, I think the
There's no
salaries
labor
are
included
approved
in the
based on
4
the year,
hours.
but in previous years, they worked a 36-hour work week in the summer. And so it's part of,
but if it's part of their contract and their contract is to work for 40 a week per se,
I
would
don't,
that
I
go
don't
in as like
think
a
we have.
PTO bank? How would that, how does that get?
It doesn't affect their PTO bank because
Reconciled.
it's part of, and I don't think that we have a contract that says they work 40 hours a week. We have salaried employees that are going to be paid, do they do it as holiday?
I mean, is the salary based off
We
of
just
that?
put in 40. Salary doesn't really have a schedule other than their hours.
Yeah.
So they just put in their hours.
Okay.
And we,
Because we're giving them the 4 hours.
yes, it's
Yes.
paid leave,
So-
basically, yes, correct.
That's why it's kind
Yeah,
of
their
interesting.
salaries are
because
based on
we wouldn't have
2,080
a-
hours, so.
Yeah.
As long as it's
Yeah.
clear from the financials, I don't want to sit back to another problem
Yeah.
with our audits because of a.
Yeah, Tara wouldn't let me,
Typo on
This
our-
let me
is,
do
this is
that.
very common in most colleges. A lot of them are off on Fridays.
No, I
and they
get
work-
that part, but I'm talking about the
Some of
the
them work
wording of
32, but so if you're willing to.
funding, no funds required, and it's funds required because we're giving them money, so.
We'll vote for that one.
And Corey, I don't know if you want to chime in on it, but just to clarify, it is paid leave, but given that it's already been budgeted, we're not requesting additional funding from the board to sustain this over the summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's correct, it's just that there's not an additional allocation from the board required or a budget amendment required. This is just
Okay.
employees
Yeah.
getting the same pay that they would have gotten anyway under the compensation plan for this academic year.
All right.
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next item is 9C, consideration and possible action as necessary on proposed instructional materials costs proposed for fiscal year 26 through fiscal year 27.
So on this one, I will defer to Dr. Johnson, but this is typical of the fees that we typically bring to the board for approval in the month of March. I know our academic leadership team met, and they had the deans basically inquire with the faculty on any instructional fees that needed to be modified or changed. That is provided in the report given to the trustees. Dr. Johnson, if you want to.
Chair Sanchez and members of the board, I'm pleased to announce that our changes or our increases are not many. Only in one specific area, you will find particular changes occurring in the nursing and allied health area. And I brought along our deans as well as our department, our, what's your title, chair? Director, yes, I'm sorry. And so let me introduce, of course, Dean Secord, in which he is over CTE and TGE, and there are no changes or no increases in those particular areas. Our interim dean, Leota Presley, who is our, of course, in NAH, and she could explain some of those particular items that we're increasing as well as decreasing in particular programs. And as well as our dental hygienist, is that correct? Hygienist. Dental hygienist is Abby Pena. So if you have any questions, you can see certainly our proposals here and instructional material costs. Typically, you have, of course, the increase in fees that you will find, basically adjustments for inflation, just materials get more expensive, and you will see, of course, some of the particular costs or cost increase. In addition to some of the courses being removed, you will find, of course, decrease. And so these particular courses in RNSG, you will find that's being removed from the particular curriculum as well. And so you would find, of course, a decrease with the costs associated with that. Some new courses that are being developed for our future RN program are included in this as well. And you will see some of those particular courses, especially RNSG 1361, which would be a new particular course, and then you would see some of these increases for the course fee.
So do we have the names of the courses with new curriculum?
It just, I'm sorry.
We could,
I mean, it's not here, but you could provide that.
Yeah, she'll explain, of course, some of the
Right.
courses that are.
So the RNSG courses, that's our proposed LVN to RN Bridge program, so that you're seeing some of that. What we basically were looking at, when you're seeing further down where it's the course removed, new curriculum, that was our old curriculum. So we moved to a concept base, so the course numbers changed that coincided with that. And so what we did is we moved some of the course fees that were previously here to other areas where the product was actually being utilized. So if there was a class that has a lab and we're in the lab and doing simulation supplies, that's where the course fees got moved to.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Wherever the product was being most utilized, that's where we added those costs or removed them completely.
Sure. I'm
And
not as worried about the cost as I am the curriculum, so I'd just like to
Right.
know a little bit more about the curriculum.
I understand.
But you can give me that later on.
Sounds
It's
good.
not a problem. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, because we can see the numbers, but some of us doesn't understand what are those numbers.
I don't know what 1163 is, I'd like to know the.
Right.
Of course, because we'll bring it.
Chemistry or
That's
whatever.
clinical.
We'll bring it on what those courses.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Move to approve.
With the new curriculum, was there a big trade-off in how much it cost? Was it a lot more costly or less costly?
Not particularly, our costs are more related to the products going up.
Going up and.
That's pretty much what it was.
And textbooks and things like that, the new curriculum doesn't have like built-in textbooks, so they don't buy it.
Unfortunately, no, but what we did is we did look at the costs of the, you know, different products from different publishers. And we've chosen, like an ebook option so that it's cheaper, they get instant access, and if they want to print, it's very minimal cost to purchase that. It's like $15 extra to get an in-print copy.
I think a lot of colleges are using a lot of the ebooks now, just for the expenses from the students.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the allied health fields are the ones that won't have open education resources.
Yeah.
So typically,
Yeah.
it's hard to move away from those, but yeah, maybe someday we'll have.
Before the Belknap started, I had already motioned to move.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's a point of order. So, I second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next item is 9D, consideration and possible action to approve the ratification and disposal of 31 general hygiene chairs.
So I was able to discuss this item with the trustees during last month's board meeting. I'm simply bringing the contractor, the agreement to the trustees for ratification. We were able to work with CDE and the college was given $19,500 for the dental equipment that we had. So it was full labor removal, transportation, and proper disposal of 31 units. I will share that I want to thank Abby for your work in this. There was some very tough negotiations that took place with several vendors and some very candid conversations that we had to have on what the expectation the college had on basically getting some funds back for the equipment. And Abby, you did wonderful, so kudos to you. She really negotiated this agreement for us and got it to a place where we didn't have to do much by the time we needed to finalize and sign off on the agreement. And actually came in during the spring break, and Abby was here working with those the delivery drivers installing the chairs. I would encourage the trustees that if you have some time to visit the dental hygiene lab, it looks beautiful. I would encourage you to do that. And so Abby, thank you for your work and for your team. We really do appreciate it. I know the students appreciate it as well. We had some visit the office earlier. They were trying to get us to go and get some cleanings.
They're recruiting.
So they were recruiting. And they were so excited. They said, we have some new chairs, you need to come and check them out. So your work is really going a long way for the college and for those students. So thank you, it means a lot.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Move to approve?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next item is 9E, consideration and possible action to approve an amendment to the CBC 2025-2026 academic calendar. Dr. Suarez.
So I recently met with the graduation committee, and some good news actually is we are expecting a high number of graduates for the spring commencement ceremonies. That is given that we had a fall commencement ceremony. So even with that production in place during the fall semester, we're getting students to complete and finish the programs here at the college. So the recommendation from the committee is to host an additional day for commencement, which would be Thursday, May 14th. I wholeheartedly agree with that. I know there were some issues last year with the cooling and the ventilation in the gymnasium, so this would prevent us from having to do that. But we're bringing this recommendation to the trustees to modify the academic calendar to include an additional day for commencement ceremonies, which would be May 14th.
It's a good problem to have.
Yes.
I move for approval.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. The next item up is 9F, consideration and possible action to approve the procurement of internet services. Dr. Suarez.
I actually get to defer to Tara for once during this meeting today, so I'll defer this item to Tara.
Keep that one. So our internet services, the contract that we're currently under is close to expiration. And so, because we're still evaluating quotes and with spring break, we've been having meetings with, we have a contract with Spyglass, I think that I've mentioned it to the board maybe a few months ago, maybe longer, but they, did an evaluation of some of our internet services and, telephones and things like that. And so, they brought us back like a cost savings plan, but unfortunately, a lot of the cost savings they identified related to the cell phones that we cut off after that.
So we did their work for them, basically.
But as part of, what they are looking at was our internet services, and because we needed to, redo our contract in that area, they actually have provided us with, some different quotes that have some significant cost savings over what was brought to y'all previously as part of the, change in the teleconferencing systems, that y'all approved for Zoom, last month.
Correct, yes.
And so this relates to the same thing, but we really wanted to kind of dig into that internet service and find the best savings. So the request is, the recommendation is, that y'all would give Dr. Suarez, authority to finalize the selection of the most responsive and responsible vendor after completion of the quote comparison process. We don't have the final numbers yet, but we would bring that back to y'all once we make the recommendations. But we wanted to be able to move on it without having the final numbers.
I move to approve.
It's been moved to, and seconded to approve. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Agenda item number 10, approval of financial reports for February 2026. Dr. Suarez, Tara?
We actually have Jen over here if you want to do.
Jim Miller will present
The investment.
second quarter investment report.
Okay, item 10A, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, before I say thank you for having me, I want to wish everybody happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm wearing my tie. It is the flag of Ireland, so I didn't get pinched today. Not yet. On the agenda, typical, we'll first cover the Public Funds Investment Act report that I put together every quarter. Then we'll go through the second quarter of your fiscal year. And then being the second quarter, I will add the first quarter that was presented back in December to that report. Then we'll look at the maturity schedule of every single bond you owned as of the last business day, I believe it was the 27th of February. We put that together. And then we talked brief talk about interest rates. A look back at how the Fed has implemented policy regarding any change in interest rates. And then the last two boring items are the last two Federal Reserve Board press releases, because they're the only ones that can move interest rates. And the interest rates they moved are what we call Fed funds. And Fed funds is the overnight lending rate between the New York money center banks. So while we look at bonds for the portfolio, the only thing the Fed can really change is the short-term Fed funds rate. So turning to the next page is the Public Funds Investment Act. That takes all of your financial balances from other institutions, combines it into a single report with the bond portfolio, and this is public information. So as you can see, as of February 27th, we're at $25,630,180.54. Below that, in section 5 is the part I help oversee for the college. The face value of the bonds is it's like your mortgage. Like if you took out a $250,000 mortgage, you pay it off over time, but the face value is still $250,000. The book value is what we call the cost, that's what you paid for it, and then the market value is what the bonds were worth on February 27th. So it's always nice when your cost is below the market value. That's a good thing. Then items 6 is the other balances, the Texas Class General Fund, Prosperity Bank accounts, all of the accounts, and then the cash as well that spins off as part of the bonds. And you can see you have a quite large cash balance here of $17,735,727.82. That was as of the last business day of February. The next page, again, is the second quarter. Again, that's for the 3 months, the short 90-day period, December, January, and February. I carry November, as you see, that's a starting point, for the first 3 months. These numbers correspond to the last report. So we carry over to $7,964,858, and then henceforth from there, the month of December, we were positive, the month of January, we were positive, and the month of February, we were positive. So you can see over the 3-month period, the bonds appreciated in value about 1%. Of course, simple math, if we can do that every quarter, 4% appreciation would be nice. We'll talk a little about that toward the end of my short presentation, as we've seen some change in interest rates. I think today is day 17, I believe, of the war in the Middle East, and so the nervousness in the market has pushed interest rates up, as we'll talk about. The next page is the cumulative performance, and again, the first page is that you just reviewed is an item I put together to put all the data on a single page. The next couple of pages show you where the actual data comes from. It's not something I create on my own. This is actual audited data. So as you can see, there's the monthly returns. Again, I don't calculate them, and then for the total return for the 3 months is right at the 1%, 0.97. The next page is your performance summary, and that again shows you the income over the 3-month period. There were no outflows, there were no inflows, and then the market fluctuation. Again, it's just price change on the bonds over that 90-day period. The next page is, again, since we ended the second quarter, is both the first and second quarter added together. Again, this information was presented back in December for the first quarter, but now I've put them on a single page for the first and second quarter, and henceforth we'll carry them for the third and fourth quarter as well. And again, I carry the data over from August as our starting point, and then we go through the end of the 6-month period. We ended $8,042,376. You can see every single month, September, October, November, December, January, February, we're all positive. And of course, that's a good thing. And cumulatively, those come up to a 2.5% return for the 6-month period. Again, I am an eternal optimist, but in 6 months we'll be at 5%. Again, I think a lot is going to ride on how quickly we get out of the Middle East. I'm optimistic Trump will do it, our president will, and why? Desert Storm, we forget about it. It was back in '91, I believe. We were there 43 days. So again, 17 days in right now, 43 days, Desert Storm. Our president has said 4 to 6 weeks. I don't know, it's going to be interesting. It's a big situation that affects, sadly, our military men, which we have lost, but hopefully we'll be out in less than 43 days. I think we all feel better about that. I know we're all getting a little tapped at the gas pumps right now. I watched the prices coming down. Again, the next 2 pages, the cumulative performance shows you where that data came from. In the last page we just discussed. Again, it's not data that I manipulate or calculate. It's something that's done by the firm, and it's audited. And again, then the numbers carry over there on the next page, the performance summary, which is the income over that 6-month period. That's what the bonds generated in income. Then you see some market fluctuation, that's appreciation as well. And the next pages are maturities. And again, that's every single bond the college owned as of February 27th and when that bond comes due. And you can see for the remainder of 2026, we've got about $1.2 million in bonds that will mature. Might be a good thing right now with the Middle East going on, is that'll, since rates have moved up a little bit, maybe, we can garnish a little more income that we couldn't, prior to 17 days ago. Then again, in 2027, you can see you got about $557,000 that'll mature, $1.9 million in 2028, $1.4 million roughly in 29, and then about $3 million in 2030. And there's only one bond right now that goes out the full extent of the 5-year structure that we're allowed to under the Public Funds Investment Act, and that'll come due in February of 2031 of $40,000. So again, a total of $8,021,000 in bonds spread over 5 years, and again, in full compliance with the Public Funds Investment Act. This is an interesting page. I know it's boring most of the time, but I only highlighted Singapore on there because that's the only country of the major economies in the world that interest rates went down over, again, our last meeting date back in December. So again, this Middle East thing is not just a U.S. phenomenon, it's going on across the board. Interest rates, that's just showing nervousness in the market. How long the nervousness lasts, of course, is a $64,000 question at this point. But as you might remember back in December, as I mentioned, President Trump is real estate background. What does everybody in real estate want? Lower interest rates. So I don't think it's taken him off his game, off his desire for the country. It's pushing things out, I think, a little bit, but I still think there's pressure for interest rates to come further down. And of course, remember, we'll have a new Federal Reserve Board chairman in May as Powell's term ends, but he's staying on the board, so he'll still have a strong voice. The next page, this is the one that keeps getting a little longer, and I'm going to have to keep shrinking it. It shows you, I start with the last time the interest rates went up, and you can see, it's 2023, almost 3 years ago now. That's the last time interest rates went up. So since then, you can see interest rates have come down 6 times in the last 3 years. I put the March meeting on there since it's started today, and as of last night, there was a 99% probability that the Fed will not lower interest rates or change interest rates. Then the last 2 boring pages in December, these are the Federal Reserve Board press releases. In December, the Fed did lower interest rates. And then last meeting in January, there was no February meeting of the Fed. The Fed decided to do nothing, to maintain the target rate, target Fed funds. So I think it's going to be a little quiet insofar as interest rates. A lot is dependent on some international items, but I do think there still is room toward the end of the year to see the Fed move to lower interest rates. So higher interest rates may help the college in some ways earn more earn more interest, but of course higher interest rates tend to be inflationary and move up the price of goods, like they were just talking about, the price of goods changed and for the college and the materials that the students use. So that's inflationary. So if you see the price of gas going down at the pump, that's a good thing. We see some inflation relenting. That would help us all, I believe. So I'll entertain any questions you may or may not have. And my contact information is on there. Feel free to email me. I know sometimes people don't like to ask questions in a large format like this, but if you do send me an email or call me, it'll remain between the 2 of us. I promise you that.
Thank you, sir. I move to approve the second quarter investment report.
It's been moved and seconded to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Jim.
Next item is 10B, consideration and possible action to approve the monthly financial reports for February 2026. Dr. Swedis, Tara.
Me, finally.
It's from your turn.
So, this is our financial statements for February 28th, 2026. Because of spring break and the quick turnaround, we have some things that may not be posted at the time that these were created, just because
It's a handout.
some automatic transactions are posted via journal entry. And so there was one area where I identified something. But on the statement of net position, we still have a very strong cash position. We have 13.5 million in unrestricted cash and 3.7 million in restricted cash. Jim has already talked to y'all about our investments, and so we have quite a bit there as well. Most other balance sheet items are year-end adjustments, which I think I mentioned every month, and so I'm gonna really just move on to the income statement, unless y'all have questions on the statement of net position. Okay, so in our restricted fund, this is just our debt service and financial aid and grants and some of our state appropriations. There's not really a whole lot of activity that happens here outside of, most of it's in and out. We do have some interest income for our debt service, which that interest is going down because we are spending a lot of the tax maintenance notes now. And so I'm gonna move on to the main one, the unrestricted. So, this is unrestricted and auxiliary. We have received 75% of our state appropriations. We did receive about $8,000 additional with the delay in the payment for the February amount, but it's still calculated to the 25%. For fast dual credit revenues, we received $10,065. Those amounts some of them were certified on January 8th, and we're still pending quite a few dollars related to the FAST funding for the first part of the year. Student tuition, we're almost right at budget. We're under by about 1%, and that includes most of spring. Not a lot of summers is in there yet as far as the revenues go. Fees are a bit under budget, so this is something that we plan to look at to make sure that our fees are in line with what we're budgeting for revenues for the next fiscal year. Ad valorem taxes, we're at 77% of our budget so far, and we are still getting collections. This is just through February, and I think some of it hasn't been posted here yet. Investment income, like I said, we're spending some of the tax maintenance note, but we haven't had to move any money out of our reserves back to the general fund to cover operating expenditures. We're still in a good cash position there. Other income, we are at 44% that we've received. I went through this today because I was kind of curious, like what all is budgeted there. We have about $154,000 budgeted for facilities rentals, but to date we've only received on this statement $14,000 in that line item, and so I kind of went through. I think that our busiest is probably through summer in some of our rentals. And so I looked, and as of today, we're at, right at $71,000 in income, so we're about half, which is good. So we're not, it's not on this report, but like I said, some things come in after the month is over, and we weren't able to get those into this report. Everything on the expense side is really close to the 50% mark, with the exception of academic support. That one looks like it's over budget by 20%, but the way that the budget was set up, it doesn't include a TPEG expense. So the TPEG is a set aside that's based on the tuition dollars, and we do that calculation twice a year now, and because previously we only did it once a year, it was never budgeted in the unrestricted fund. We do have it budgeted in the restricted fund where we move the money. So we do a calculation, it reduces our tuition revenue, increases our TPEG expense for the amount that we have to set aside. And we set aside those dollars and financial aid awards those dollars to students and that happens in a separate fund, in Fund 20, which is on the restricted budget. And so there was $177,119.80, that was part of the calculation for fall 2025, that is expensed under academic support. And so we are going to research this and make sure that the classification in academic support is accurate, and if so, then we'll do a budget adjustment to, just internally, not that y'all have to approve, but just to show that that funding should go there, so that way when we're looking at the financial statements, it doesn't look like we're over budget in spending for academic support, so. Does anybody have questions? Kevin, you look
There's,
Good.
yeah, there's a lot of missing data that I'm used to seeing on here, but I'll get back with you later if I have to.
It's missing something?
But just things that I'm used to seeing that I don't see, because it's just the format change.
Oh,
I'm
have
sure
you?
I can figure
Okay.
something out. Let me just go through it.
Yes, we changed the format, I think, I don't remember which month we changed it. If there's something that you want to see, if you let me know, we can make sure and include that.
Maybe it's on
I was gonna ask you on the
What?
fast tool credit,
Uh-huh.
the amount is so small, is that typical that we get it in small increments
Well,
like that?
That, we certified quite a few, and those are based on our CBM reporting, and then we have to send it to the coordinating board, so I think we kind of had for fall, we were submitting it, in summer, we were like submitting it later, and so some of this is related to fiscal year 2025, and so we don't really know when they send it out, and no one really knows, that you just certify it by the date that they tell you, and then it's months later when it shows up, and so we don't really, we never know when it's gonna come.
I'm curious, because it looks like they gave us a little bit, but a whole bunch is missing, you're thinking, why wouldn't they just give us the full amount, but
It's
Yes, they have
based
a
on
system.
different semesters, and so they'll have like a fall flex or a summer
I
flex,
see,
or
so
they'll
the
have
whole
the
amount
full
is for
fall,
what we're
and so it's
expecting.
kind of, there's a lot of different ones. I think we did like 6 certifications back in January, and so we've only received a small amount, but the rest of it, it's budgeted, some of it will come next year, some of it will come, but it just, I'm new to that too, and so whenever they first sent it to me, I was like, I think Candy and I went back and forth quite a bit trying to, for me to try, I was like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
So we looked into it, but they do have some that Braden, when she came into the role, back in January, that we reviewed, and so hopefully we'll be receiving those in the next report.
Hey Tara, just because I'm not seeing it on here, I could just be missing it.
Okay.
Do we have our reserves on hand? And I know we committed to a certain amount yearly to place in hand, to
Yes.
place in the reserves. Do you remember what that amount is?
So if you look at on the unrestricted and auxiliary budget to actual report, the very bottom line that says reserve for contingency, we did set aside $200,000 that we, as part of our budget for contingency.
Okay.
But to the right is our budget adjustments, and so as of February, in our reserves, we have adjusted essentially $490,000 into those reserves. So that's where we're moving those savings, and so it's in a contingency line. And the only time we move funds out of that is to fund things that the executive cabinet approves.
Okay, so do we have a total that is in there now?
As of February, yes, that is what was in there as of February.
That's our contingency as of February.
Yes, and that's only what we had adjusted for those savings that we've identified. The $200,000 is still fully budgeted in the contingency budget that was approved as part of we haven't touched our actual contingency dollars that were budgeted dollars. What you're seeing in this, in the budget adjustment side over on this side
Yeah, I see it right
is what we have identified as savings during the fiscal year.
My recollection is that 2 years ago, the previous administration reduced the reserve amount. It was like $1 million or 1.2 million, and it was dropped to 200,000.
Right.
And so
But
that's,
our total reserve was up around 5 million a few years ago. And so I'm just wondering about why we're here now.
Well, so this is only related to expenditures that were budgeted in fiscal year '26. that we have identified that will not be expended unless executive cabinet approves it.
Okay.
The calculation that y'all are talking about, if y'all would like me to present that in the March meeting, I can.
I would love
That's
to
the
do
human
that.
AEP,
It'd be
that's the
good.
unrestricted, net position essentially, and so I can do that calculation. I think the last time we looked at it, I don't wanna give you a false
No,
false
please,
information,
yeah,
but we
just
did look at it since
put that
I've
in
started,
the
like a
next
couple,
budget.
maybe December or November, we did the calculation, and so, we, actually, it was prior, it was probably November, because we didn't have the final audit number, so we weren't sure, but we did do it after, the audit was finalized for fiscal year '25, and so I can present those numbers from fiscal year '25 and kind of give you an estimate of what it looks like in fiscal year '26. Because it's based on our net position, and without having year-end adjustments posted for things like fixed assets and debt and things like that, like,
Yep.
it's hard to give you an actual amount, but we can look at the cash amount and what we think the cash reserve should be based on spending and things like that.
Yeah, would you please bring me that?
Yes.
That would be good, little concern. Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Next item is agenda item 11, review of informational reports. Dr. Sweatz.
Yeah, so the first report is the contracts for employment and resignations requested by the trustees. That's this report here. It is outlines the resignations that we had, or vacancies over the past month, and also some positions that were filled. I will share that I think one of the strategic goals that we've had is really making sure that our marketing and branding is where it needs to be as an institution. And so we did hire some marketing staff and employees that are assisting with just making sure that on the creative, they're updating websites, helping the enrollment management teams develop and coordinate the applications for things like the Promise program, getting our logos out there in the community where they need to be, and just making sure that the quality of our marketing strategy is competitive and relevant to the work that we're doing as a college. So I don't know if any of the trustees have gotten a chance to drive towards Kingsville recently. The billboard that we have out there is actually the Cougar, and it basically has the logo as well, and it says empowering our regions by educating our students. But they placed it in a really nice wooded area, so the facade of it looks like a cougar in its natural habitat. It's pretty neat, yeah, it's so, and that all goes back to the marketing strategy. There's a lot of creative that goes behind that. It's very intentional, a lot of people don't realize it, just in seeing the work. So we have a good marketing team, and they're doing some really good work for the college as well. And this is for information only, no approval required. And item 11B, we don't have any board committee reports for executive finance and audit or policy.
All right, agenda item number 12, executive session. The board will now convene. It's 6:57. At this time, the board will now convene in a closed meeting to discuss the following items posted on our agenda this evening as allowed by the Texas Government Code. It's Texas Government Code Section 551.076, security devices or security audits. Texas Government Code Section 551.071, consultation with attorney, and Texas Government Code Section 551.074, personnel matters. Thank you very much.
We can do it later, because yeah, I was gonna stick around with it.
All right, it is 8:40, and the board is back in open session. We have no matters that were discussed in executive session that require a vote, so the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Motion passes. Dr. Suarez has some announcements.
Yes, so just some quick announcements. Once again, we have the Diamonds of Distinction Women's History Month event to be held on March 24th, 2026. in the Peter S. Marsick Physical Fitness Center. CDC will be closed for the spring holidays starting April 3rd through April 6th. And the April regular board meeting will be held on Tuesday, April 24th, here at 5:30 PM in the Sandy Dirks Boardroom. Those are my announcements.
All right, thank you. All right, thanks, everybody. Do you want to do a photo with Anna
Yes,
now?
definitely, we definitely need to get a photo with that.
We're gonna miss you.
I
Are you
will
staying
too.
in Viva? Crazy.
For a little while, just till the lease runs out, but, yeah,
That's gonna make her feel love, that's right.
You wanna go to New York City?
No.